Addy soldiers. Happy Pride Month, babies! It's the first week of June, it's my birthday month, my coffee's kicking in, and my lip gloss tastes like a pina colada. Life is good. And of course, what do we do during Pride Month? We read gay books. Now, y'all know I don't need an occasion to go and haunt my local bookstore for a couple of hours, but I am fully using Pride Month as an excuse to buy some books that I've been meaning to for a while. So with absolutely no ulterior motive whatsoever, I got a grand old stack of big old gay books, and I would like to haul them with you guys to show off some new things that are coming out during Pride Month and some backlist titles that I finally picked up, and a couple that I have lovingly been sent, which brings me to this video is kindly sponsored by Harlequin. Oh my god. The well-known, well-loved powerhouse of romance titles has asked me to show off some of their new queer books that are coming out this year, and I am happy to oblige them. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. Let's go, lesbians, let's go. First one is from my Sapphics out there. I have seen this hyped to high hell on TikTok, and I knew immediately that I needed to pick it up, and that is Chris and Devon Plan a Wedding by Trencia C. Higgins. I don't watch reality TV, but I love books that center a reality TV show. Chris and Devon are both contestants on a show called Instant I Do, which is a reality TV show where two people are paired up and then they have to convince their families that they're getting married, and they have 6 weeks to plan a wedding. And if they convince everybody, then they get a bunch of money. But Chris and Devon might actually be falling for each other and stuff gets complicated. So full disclosure, I also already read this book because the moment that I got it, I like ripped apart a package with a ferocity that I have not displayed in quite some time and finished this in a day and a half. Not to give too much of a review because I want to save that for like my actual June monthly wrap up, but gotta say, this book lived up to everything I had heard about it. It is so cute. It is the sweetest and yet also is like kinda hot. Mommy? Sorry. And fake dating is one of my favorite romance tropes, and seeing the two of them fake it till they make it literally was so great. So highly recommend this. Oh, and what's that? You want this book too? Well, I got you covered because I have a site-wide coupon with Harlequin that is Model25, and I will leave that in the description, as well as the link to the LGBTQIA+ reads portion of their site, and that is good for the rest of June. Another Sapphic book you might want to get your hands on is The Island Princess Starts a Scandal by Adriana Herrera. I read one of Adriana's short stories that was in the Peculiar Tastes romance series, so I will leave that video there, but if this book is anything like that, this book is gonna be hot. I saw Jessie of Exclusive Palm Beach reading Island Princess Starts a Scandal by Adriana Herrera, so I had to pick up An Island Princess Starts a Scandal by Adriana Herrera. My friend Jessie, aka Exclusive Palm Beach Reading on TikTok, has said nothing but good things about this book, so I was very intrigued. And then looking at this cover with this like electric neon green and this just obnoxious like Barbie pink, the combo, it's giving very 2003, and I'm having the time of my life. Manuela is a paintress, artiste. She's about to be trapped in a loveless marriage and has one summer of freedom before that happens with her two best friends in Paris, where her paintings are going to be showcased. And while she's there, she meets Cora, Duchess of Sundridge, who is proposing for power's sake that Manuela sell her some of her family's land, which Manuela doesn't want to do, so they enter into an agreement that Manuela will give her the land if Cora will like teach her what it's like to be royalty, and then the two of them are careening around Paris and may just cause a scandal as chemistry flares. And since I've heard it's very difficult to scandalize the French, I am even more intrigued. Another delightful historical romance we're gonna talk about is Gay, and unfortunately I do not have a physical copy of it because it got stuck in shipping somewhere, but I still want to talk about it because it sounds so freaking adorable, and that is The Rule Guide. Rule Guide? Nope. A rule book for Restless Rogues by Jess Everly. This is a companion/sequel to The Gentleman's Book of Vices, which I think I showed off in a video a couple months ago, and this follows previous side characters David and Noah. Eccentric Noah is Savile Row's most promising young tailor, and ex-socialite David now runs an underground queer club called The Curious Fox. But then gasp, the baron that owns the land the fox is on wants to shut down the club, and David needs to figure out a way to keep all of his queer friends close and safe, but also falling in love with Noah at the same time. As somebody who became a party girl in her late 20s, which, big mistake by the way, don't do that, I'm finally finding and going to queer clubs and like queer dance parties and more queer events, and it's just like, it's so wonderful to be in a space that is fully queer. Or I've also gone to like fully sapphic events, and like those are so wonderful as well. Just the sense of community is so great. So I'm like, I can't wait to read this book about a queer club. That just sounds so wonderful. And quick note about this one, this comes out on July 11th. The next one that you can get from Harlequin, I laughed out loud when I saw it and I was like, done, put it in the cart. The Vet's Shelter Surprise by Al Douglas is a Sapphic horse girl romance. Sapphic X horse girl right here. I could not pass this up. This is a grumpy, sunshine, small town, country romance novel around a PR expert from the big city and a veterinarian who's had her heart broken by betrayal. This also apparently is set in Canada. So, love that. Something about this makes my heart and my head so happy because just this ridiculous title, the way that the cover is shot, like the certain exposure of it, the big like H Harlequin in the corner, it just like makes me so happy that I'm like, this is, you know, the ridiculous romance novel that you make fun of from, you know, your grandma's time or your mom's time, but it's like, it's queer and it's, you know, for us now, and it just makes me so happy. It just makes me and my inner horse girl so happy. Now I don't actually have a physical copy of this one as well because I only have an e-galley because this comes out in October. And last of the Harlequin titles is one I actually picked up myself unknowingly, so glad that that fits in is here as well, and you can use my code on it online, and that is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. A bunch of my friends recommended it, and apparently it's so good, and then I found out that it has another like fake marriage trope, and I was like, done, I'll take it, I'll take two. Our main character Grace just got her PhD in astronomy. I always mix those two up. Astrology gays, show up in the comments. She gets a PhD in astronomy and goes to Vegas to celebrate, only to wake up after a drunken night of fun to find herself accidentally married to this girl. And not wanting to go home and face her parents in Portland, she runs off to New York with her new wife, Yuki Yamamoto, and is able to ignore her old life while falling very hard for a woman she's just met. Yet at the same time, when reality comes crashing in, she has to realize what she's running from and who she's running towards. And to me, who's never done any spontaneous thing ever in her entire life, I think that this sounds like the perfect kind of new adult coming of age novel. And like, gotta love me some hot girls in New York, right? Who doesn't? Where'd the ice go? It is too hot already. On with the haul. This next section of books is books that I have personally purchased myself with my own hard-earned money dollars. And so far, I'm not regretting that a single bit because Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli, I also just finished reading, and I finished reading it in one day. I got this at the start of Pride Month and was going to wait to do this haul, and then picked it up and blinked and it was 1 a.m. and I was almost done the book. This is Gay Panic, the book, where Imogen has always been the token straight of her queer friend group, and she's out there to make everyone believe she is the best ally ever. But when she goes and visits one of her older friends on her college campus and finds herself inundated amongst a bunch of other queers, she realizes that the path to true love may not be as straight as she thinks she is. And again, not to fully review it, but it was such a beautiful book on bisexuality and comp het, and I would highly recommend this book. Becky Albertalli's writing is just, it is leaps and bounds from when she first started, and I love that. And I'm like, I wish her nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but the best. If you want to be your best self, you should pick this book up. The next megawatt mecha marvel that I picked up is the incredibly gay space opera that is August Kitco and the Mechas from Space by Alex White. There is an army of giant AI robot aliens coming to destroy the planet, and our main character Gus is he's just gonna play piano at the saddest goodbye party that humanity has to offer. But once the robots get into orbit, one of them saves him, and suddenly he is drawn into a small group of traitorous mechas and their pilots who are going to try and save humanity. So fun fact about this book is that I'm actually mutuals with the editor of this, and she's edited like a ton of my absolute favorite fantasy novels, and so when I saw she worked on this, I was like, okay, interested. Then she made a video talking about how this is one of her favorite books that she's ever edited and that she wishes more people knew about it, and I'm like, done. If the industry professionals really want me to read it, I'll read it. I am in fact easily influenced, but all of you knew that anyway. I can't help it. I love my floaty fruits, I love my quantum queers, and I hope that this book is as good as everyone says it is, so that I can add it permanently to my list of recommendations. Actually, I did a video last year talking about some space gays. Check that out if you want. I'm realizing now there's a big color trend this year. I swear I didn't do this on purpose, but yet another book that fits in perfectly with this like bright Barbie pink. Is that it? Is it just the Barbie movies coming out this year and that's the trending color? I don't know. Pink is in. Pink is big. I want some pink. Pink it's gonna be. Let's talk about Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall. Best-selling author of A Lady for a Duke and Boyfriend Material and Glitterland and what's the new one? What's the new one with the two dudes on the cover? Oh no, it's also the London Calling series. 10 things I'll never forget. This. Oh my god, I feel like I'm having a stroke. Whatever. Alexis Hall is finally giving us a sapphic fantasy and I am on board for it. So this is like alternative history, contemporary fantasy set in the Regency era, but there's also like fairies and witches and sorcerers. Where our leading lady, Miss Maylys Mitchellmore, what a name, enters into high society under a curse, and she needs to team up with a witch to help her get rid of it. And that witch is Lady Georgiana Landrake, who may or may not have murdered her own family to gain her power and status. But Maylys's reputation isn't the only thing on the line, as there are some supernatural attacks happening, and the two of them have to team up to figure out who's behind it all, and yet also maybe fall in love. Regency era court politics, magic, witches, curses, fairies, sapphics. This is just checking all of my boxes. In fact, it checked those boxes so hard that I decided to pick up another book by Alexis Hall, and that is this one, which I can't read backwards on the monitor. Paris Dalincourt is about to crumble by Alexis Hall. We're firing Chekhov's electric stand mixer because what did I say? I love a book about a reality TV show. Paris is a recipe for disaster because even though he has a classics degree, can bake, and owns a cat, apparently he's still an anxious mess. Paris, no negative self-talk 2023. But to boost his confidence, his roommate enters him into Bake Expectations, which is the, I guess, equivalent of like the Great British Bake Off. And while he's there, he meets fellow competitor and absolute cutie, Tarek, and then they're falling in love, but still being on camera and having to deal with the social media fallout, like the producers meddling, and Paris has to realize that the sweet things in life are what he really deserves. Ah, so cute! The strength that it is taking to hold back all of the baking puns that are boiling up inside of me is commendable. I've said for many years that I don't read contemporary. Like, I've always joked that I read lesser than or a contemporary a year, and I think that's just not the case anymore because I found out that I do like contemporary, but I like contemporary when it's gay. We learn stuff about ourselves every day, don't we? And rounding up the selection of books that I picked up for myself, this book I was trying to hunt down and I couldn't find it freaking anywhere. So when I stumbled into a Walmart, I saw it on the shelf, I almost screeched and made a beeline straight for A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I know, not the kind of book that I would imagine Walmart to stock, but here we are. That was also something that made me really happy, is that when I went into the, book aisle, there were so many queer romances just like out on the shelves in a Walmart, and it's just so wonderful. I almost started crying. I was screaming, I was crying in the aisles of Walmart. Probably not the weirdest thing that everyone's ever seen in a Walmart, but at the same time, I was having a day. Without hyperbole, I have seen about 500,000 people talking about A Dowry of Blood, which is a poly-vampire romance novel that focuses on the wives and family of presumably Dracula. Now, I am in the middle of this one right now, so I haven't finished it, but this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's actually very much so about an abusive relationship and how you lose your humanity over the centuries that you're alive. Not to say that I don't like it, it's just very different than what I was expecting. And also not the kind of book that I would usually pick up in the middle of a heat wave. But something about the heat and the discomfort just really adds to the whole unsettling vibe about this book. It is bloody and horrid and very intriguing. I read most of this in one go, and I'm gonna finish it tonight. Another summer 2023 promo that I got involved in is with Tor. Yet again, Tor is like the best long-term relationship that I've ever had. They sent me the new cover bind-up of Wolf Song by TJ Klune. And the Green Creek series is an adult gay werewolf novel repackaged into these cool new covers. I'm kind of into it. Vampires are making a comeback and I'm not mad at it. Werewolves on the other hand, I'm a little bit more trepidatious about. That being said, I am still very excited to start this book. The first in the Green Creek Quartet, Wolf Song follows Ox, who, when he was 16, there was a family that moved in next door, and it turns out that they're actually shape-shifting werewolves. And he's pulled into a world that he never knew, and he becomes an ally and friend to Joe, one of the younger brothers. But then a murder strikes the town, and Joe leaves, and then 3 years later, he's back, very different than who Ox knew him as a boy, and then they have to reconcile, and I'm assuming fall in love. This is a romantic fantasy, but with a queer werewolfy twist by somebody who makes some of the most wholesome characters that I've ever read. And if you want the new covers, they're going to be released over the summer. So Wolf Song comes out in July, Raven Song comes out in August, and then Heart Song comes out in January, and then finally, Brother Song comes out in July of 2024. And of course, now, in the middle of filming, in the middle of the afternoon, there's a power tool that's going off. Because of course there is. Why would they not use a power tool in the middle of the day during a heat wave outside of my apartment complex and during Pride Month? Homophobic. Speaking of another cute queer contemporary, I got sent Going Bi-Coastal by Dahlia Adler by Wednesday Books. This is an advanced copy, but it is in fact out now, and it's my fault because I didn't read it in time. Fellow Bi-Con, as Dahlia Adler, is at it again with this new book that is, I think, a really cool twist on the idea of a bisexual romance. This follows main character Natalia through two alternative timelines of what could have happened if she had gone to, I believe it's New York, to stay with her father for the summer, or to LA to stay with her mother for the summer. So we get to see Natalia settle into New York and fall in love with maybe the girl of her dreams, but we also get to see Natalia go and start thriving in LA and meet a cute boy who exceeds all her expectations. The old stereotype of like, oh, bisexuals just need to choose a side. I'll choose a side. I'll choose whoever treats me better. That's who I choose. And just saying, it's not often men, so that seems like a you problem. I love Dahlia Adler's other works, like Cool for the Summer and The Home Field Advantage were so cute, so I am very confident adding this to my shelf. Second last is a book that has a full legacy behind it, because I am holding in my hands a copy of Camp Damascus by legendary gay icon Chuck Tingle. If you are not aware of the grand spectrum of erotica that Chuck Tingle writes, Google it. I'm sure you'll find something that you like. But the man himself has come out with a horror novel, Camp Damascus, that centers a gay conversion camp in the mountains of Nevada. It's a gay slasher horror novel by Chuck Tingle. Like, I don't know if there was a world where I imagined all of those words would end up in that sentence in that order, but like, I'm so glad they did. Also, this cover, do you see like the scream in the mountains? Ooh! I screamed about this on TikTok when Tor sent me a copy, and I'm not done screaming about it yet. This comes out in July, and it's like summer horror seems to be a thing now. Like, am I missing out on something? Have I been living under a rock? Is this like a thing? Speaking of summertime horror, last but certainly not least is the Sapphic Vietnamese thriller horror gothic debut novel that is She Is a Haunting. Bloomsbury sent me Trang Tan's debut, which apparently is going to put Hill House to shame. Also, moment for the cover and the one shiny tear. Stellar. Jade and her sister Lily go to visit their estranged father in Vietnam on this beautiful French colonial house that he is restoring. She thinks that she can act Vietnamese enough and act straight enough that her father will give her the college money that he's promised her. But once they get there, strange things start happening. She thinks that she can hear her ancestors speaking to her. There seems to be bugs in weird places and strange dreams of a ghost bride in the cemetery nearby that says cryptic messages like don't eat. With her sister thinking there's nothing wrong, Jade teams up with a local delinquent girl to expose the rotten core of her family's home. As we know, spooky season is all year round, but this is a little something extra for this one. And the tagline for this book is, "This house eats and is eaten." Ew! What? Yes, give me all the cottage gore content, I want it! I'm not super into horror, but I am getting more into gothics, especially the gay gothics and gay horror. Just everything's better when it's gay. I will not be taking critique at this time. Thank you, Bloomsbury, for my summertime nightmares. I really appreciate it. And that is that on that. There's a big old stack of gay books to get excited about this Pride Month and beyond. Remember, just because we have Pride Month, or Disability Awareness Month, or AAPI Month, or Black History Month, that just because this is 1 month long doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything else for the rest of the year. Engaging with diversity all year long is like so hot right now. And once again, thank you so much to Harlequin for sponsoring this video. The link to their Queer Read site is down below, along with my code, which is Model25, that works site-wide, but only until the end of June, so get your orders in now. Please leave down below what books you plan to read this Pride Month or all summer, just having a hot gay summer. I hereby decree every summer to be a hot gay summer. If you want my earrings, I will leave the Etsy shop down below as well. That's not sponsored. I really love them. And the shop owner is really nice. I think I'm gonna go get another tumbler of water and turn my air conditioner on because it is hot and my pale vampire body is not doing well in this heat. You know where to click to like the video. You know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!